All right, guys, welcome back to another video. In today's episode, like I said previously, we're going to be answering most of your questions. So let's dive right in. So in the last video, we answered a bunch of questions. Here, we're going to answer 3 or 4 questions to make sure we can help you guys. And we got some funny ones in here.
Yeah, let's mix it up this time. So the first one's from ASAP Autoglass 2007. He says, "Be careful with that, terrible for your kidneys." And he's referring to our drink that we had that was Coca-Cola and protein shake.
Right. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of speculation around like aspartame and how bad it is for you. And there's tons of research out there that obviously dictates that like you need to drink like 70 cans of diet soda a day for like 30, 40, 50 years in order for it to be like cancerous.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I mean, if you love it and it's going to help you lose weight, or like, you know, it's going to be your favorite drink and it's your alternative to sugar, which is also bad, I'm going to say, you know what, that might be a better alternative. Just like, don't go overboard. You don't have to have 10 of these a day. I wouldn't test the 70 theory limit. I would stick to one.
Yeah, if you have a Diet Coke a day, you're going to be just fine.
Yeah, just stick to one if you enjoy that, you know. You got to, dude, it's better than a beer probably. But I don't know. That's my thing. I like having a beer.
Yeah, fair.
So everyone's got their thing, right?
Everyone's
so people
got their
like ice cream or whatever.
Yeah. This was actually a good one. At the Cycle Report says, the idea of a 20 handicap or just finding somebody who averages 230 or less off the tee, playing off of a longer drive to compare their score is a great idea. So we did this concept, or we came up with this concept not too long ago, and I was like, it'd be cool to shoot a video, which we will do. It'd be cool to shoot a video with like a 13 to 15 handicap. They averaged 210 to 230 off the tee, maybe somewhere in there. And we're like, well, let's get them to play, not even just from like a tee shot of somebody who is better. Let's just get them to hit it 275 off the tee. So 50 yards, basically 50 to 60 yards ahead of where they normally hit it.
We could do both, right? We could take their normal drive and then we pick it up and pace off 30 paces and set their ball there and see how much better they would do. But
exactly.
It'd be funny though, actually, I think, to get that guy you were talking about in the last video who hits it like 190. He's 77 years old and he plays from your drives. Because one of the most fun things I know in a men's league, they sometimes will mix it up and they'll do 2-man scrambles. Which I love 2-man scramble because there's still like golf to it.
Correct.
You're making up and downs. Like it's still a bit of a grind.
Yep.
But I love it when they pair me with like a guy who's like retired. He's like in his mid or late 60s, and you're just like all day like bombing it. He's like, this is so much fun, like playing from.
Which I
spots.
think, to be completely fair, I think a lot of clubs should do. I think that would be like really, really good. Like, do 2-man scrambles, do 3-man scrambles, do front tee events, do
shambles
back tee events.
Are fun.
There's so many more things than just like regular stuff. So I answered this question. I said I did this with a prospective client the other day, and I was like, listen, you hit your tee shot. We're gonna play from the same tee deck. And I mean, I'm a little bit above average. So I was like, let's just play from my tee shot and I'll just let you play in from there.
Yeah.
That's it. Just pick up your ball after you hit it. We'll play the last 4 or 5 holes. You put your ball right next to mine. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to focus on any mechanical stuff. And you just hit your tee shot from there. Some of the ones I hit were in the rough. Some of the ones I hit were in the fairway. However, we were 50 to 60 yards in front of him. Well, probably a little bit more than that, actually.
Yeah.
And we finished every hole, and he played out 2 balls, essentially. He played out his shot all the way in, and then he played out from my ball all the way in. And every single hole, he played a shot to 2 shots better. Every single time.
That's
so
he's
crazy. And he's a 13 handicap.
Yeah.
And he's like, we literally did nothing. We didn't change my putting. We didn't change my mechanics. We didn't change anything. All I did was play from 50 to 70 yards in front of where you did. And I was like averaging it around, but instead of having a putt for par, I had a 2 putt for par, and it was stress-free.
Oh, yeah.
So by the end of it, he was 6 shots better on 5 holes that we played on the way in. And he's like, dude, I would be a single-digit handicap. Like, we didn't even have to do anything.
No.
And I'm like, I know that.
Yeah.
I've been screaming that from the rooftops for years.
Yeah, it's just the simplest way to get better, really, is hit the ball further.
1,000%. I mean, it's not the only thing. Don't get me wrong. I understand there are mechanics involved. You have to hit it straight. I get that.
All that stuff,
but the straighter you hit it, the less accurate you can afford to be.
It works the other way too, though. You have to have good mechanics to hit at 260. So you're solving 2 problems. You're essentially killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
1,000%.
Yeah. Okay. This one's a longer one.
Okay. Same guy.
Same guy.
So the Cycle Report says, I've debated with a friend of mine who consistently hits at 300 off the tee. It's easy to say that it isn't necessary and kind of boring to basically tee off and have a partial wedge into most holes, especially when the 250 to 275, where I tend to hit it, still make holes fairly short on approach.
So he's trying to say that when you hit it too far, that it's boring. Is that what he's saying?
That's essentially what I'm. That's essentially what I'm reading.
Because I know what he's saying. I used to play at a course where it was driver wedge, and so every hole you're hitting like 70 yards in 2 holes. And I used to think that was kind of a little boring too. Maybe you're at a really short golf course, and that's like,
I really hate making tons of birdies and pars. That's really boring golf. That's really sucks.
That one is kind of crazy. I guess.
But if we're talking about scoring, the extra bump in distance puts a wedge in his hands versus my 7-iron, and the stats don't lie. A wedge that is going to be able to hunt pins more than my 7-iron. It's not even just about hunting pins. You're 100% right. It's just solely based on the fact that like you're not going to hit it as far away. It's a lot easier to hit a green from 100 yards than it is from 200 yards. That's just statistically what it is.
Yeah, because I don't know how many, like, pin hunting's a really weird concept.
Correct.
Like, it's like, yes, you want to hit it as close to the pin as possible, and you're going to be able to do that way easier with a shorter club, but I don't know if people understand the dispersion of golf from different distances. Correct. Like, with a 7-iron, you shouldn't be pin hunting at all. You're just hoping to get that thing on the green, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, right? even from 150 yards on tour, it's like I think the average is like 24 feet.
Yeah, so they're not like pin hunting is a strange concept. I mean, you're gonna pick the yardage maybe, but there's a particular green where it's a 2-tiered green and false front, and when the pin's on the back or the front, you can definitely like sort of go at that pin because you have like a sand wedge in your hand or a lob wedge. From 100 yards, I think you can start to divide parts of the green more. But if you got a 7-iron in your hand, I mean,
you have one option.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Hit the green.
Yeah.
Because like with a wedge, at least you have, that's the thing. Not only do you have the opportunity to create different shots, but you also have just more variability and less things that could go wrong.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get down to what this guy's even saying.
I think everybody needs 300 yards or more, but if somebody hitting under 250 yards and having a long
iron or fairway
into some of these holes. I don't think everybody needs 300 yards or more, but if someone's hitting under 250 yards and having a long iron or fairway into a lot of greens that is going to be really hard to score nearly as well as an 8-iron in hand. That doesn't make any sense. So yes, 100. I think everybody needs to hit at 300 yards or more. That's completely unfactual.
I think he's just agreeing with you.
I hope he is, because
I think he's agreeing with you, but he's saying it might be too boring if you hit it too close.
Yeah, definitely. That sucks. I hate playing good golf. Like, what kind of a question is that?
Obviously, he's saying it's more important to hit fairways and hit it 250 than hit it 290 and be dangerous. Yeah, obviously.
No, but that's also incorrect.
Well, so he's saying if you're risking like hitting it out of bounds or something different. At 290, that's different. Yeah,
but if I'm going to give you 50 more yards and you're in the rough, that doesn't even matter.
No, the rough doesn't matter.
The fact that you're closer to the pin statistically means, regardless of whether you're in the fairway or the rough, statistically speaking, you're going to hit it closer.
Yeah.
So are there less variabilities from the fairway? Yes, 1,000%. But I would rather give up hitting the fairway 10% less to be like 20% closer to the hole every single time.
Yeah, it's a different conversation between the rough and the fairway or a bunker in the fairway, a forest in the fairway, a water hazard in the fairway.
But
that's when you do come back. And we actually say that in the video. Like if you, one of the biggest tools of hitting it further is now that you have more targets, like you can choose the widest part of the hole to hit it to, right?
It's not just like bombs away and hope you don't hit it out of bounds. That's not what we're saying at all.
But I mean, if it's a wide open course and you can hit it 30 yards further and be in the rough, that's better than being 30 yards back in the fairway.
Yeah, he's literally saying, I kind of hate playing golf from 300-yard tee shot. Rarely get to play iron shots, which is the favorite part of the game, but it is easier to go low when you're actually inside 115 on every par 4.
I don't know, man.
Case in point. But also, it's like, maybe move back a deck if you're so concerned. Like, if you're, like, to be fair, he's saying, if he's usually inside 115, I want to be inside 50 yards. I want to be putting. I want to be driving greens. What are you talking about?
Yeah, man. I mean, I used to hate those yardages too because I kind of sucked at 60, 70 yards. And
but guess what?
What?
Practice that.
Yeah. That's
Congratulations, you have a new problem, but it's a good problem.
It's really fun, man. No,
it is.
That's a weird approach. I mean, I get where the guy's coming from, but I think maybe that's just a mindset shift into like being... dude, if you're hitting it that far, that's awesome.
Yeah, I understand.
Enjoy the birdies.
People want the challenge, especially if they're half decent. Like, people want the challenge. I get it. There is some fun to that, but like it's also going to be a lot easier and a lot more fun to play when you're making a ton of pars and birdies.